It is your girl Brittany Nicole, and I'm back again with another video. And today I did this really glowy, simple, beautiful, everyday makeup look. I did this with all drugstore products because, you know, your girl don't really like spending a whole bunch of money on makeup that I'm gonna wash off in a few hours. So you know I got you. I tried my best, and I'm not a professional. Your girl isn't a beauty guru. This is just what I do on my face to achieve the look I do every day. Everything that I used in this video will be listed down below because I know when I first started doing makeup, I wanted to have a list of things that I had to go get so that I knew what I needed for my face. So all of that will be down below. You guys really requested this, so I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more videos. I upload every Monday and Friday, and follow me on Instagram at Mark4Life. Okay, now let's hop into the video. Alright, so I always start off with a freshly washed and moisturized face, and I will go in with the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect Foundation. I mixed both of the shades, Chestnut and Nutmeg, to make my own custom color because in the summertime I do get a little tan, and it seems to fluctuate every day depending on how, I guess, my skin is feeling. So I'm going to bring you in a little closer here so that you can see what I'm doing. On the back of my hand, I mix the foundations with my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. It's really good to mix your foundation and cream makeup on the back of your hand so that it warms it up and actually makes it look like skin on your face. So that's a quick little tip that I learned through doing my makeup a lot. So you're just going to want to take this and blend it all the way to your ear, down your neck, and just make everything look seamless. If you have acne scarring like me, sometimes I do it in layers. So I'll just do my first layer and then go back and do a second layer on top of it and just spot treat it as I see fit, depending on if my acne scars are showing through or not. So one thing I always do, regardless of where I'm going or what I'm doing, is wipe the excess makeup off of my birthmark because I think it's beautiful and I like for it to show. Alright, so now I'm going to take my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shades Fawn and Pure Beige. Alright, so I start off with the lightest shade Pure Beige and really highlight under my under eyes. I get really bad dark circles from lack of sleep, so I really get in there and highlight. I like to get really close up to the bridge of my nose just to slim it out and look a little bit more snatched. So you're just going to kind of make a triangle shape under your eyes. So a little trick that I've learned from doing my makeup often is taking a different shade concealer, which is a little bit closer to your skin tone. So I take the shade Fawn and kind of mix it along the border of the shade Pure Beige, and I take my sponge again and I take the highlight side that I use of my sponge and really blend those two colors together to make a really flawless and seamless kind of airbrush effect. It's super effective because it kind of makes a smoother transition between this really bright highlight shade that we're using and our actual skin tone. So now I'm going to flip my sponge to the side that I used for my foundation and really get in there and blend the outer perimeter of that super bright highlight so that it melts more flawlessly into the rest of your skin tone. You really want to get in there and melt everything all together. You don't want to get clogged, so if you want to look super snatched and use a really bright highlight shade like me, you really have to blend it out and take your time. This is fast forwarded, but I really take my time and blend everything together so I don't look like a freaking, I don't know, like Flashback Mary or something, sis. So now I go back in with the shade Pure Beige and put a little bit of extra love and highlight into the inner corners of my eyes because I get a little dark there throughout the day. I like to take my time and let that sit there for a second and dry so it sets onto my face and blends better into my skin. So you'll see me work around and blend everything else out while that sits, and then I'll go back in and finish that off with my sponge. I like to be super careful when I'm doing my inner corner because I don't want to move the product around too much. I want it to stay right there. So I really take my time and get in there real nice and good so that everything looks nice and bright in the center of my face. I then take my Airspun Loose Base Powder in Translucent Extra Coverage and coat my damp beauty sponge in that. I like to make a really nice layer and just get in there really tight with the bridge of my nose, just like I did with my concealer, and really push it into the skin and just kind of melt everything all together. I don't like it looking like I have powder sitting on top of my face, so I just put that in and blend everything all together nice and flawless. Next, I'm going to grab my Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless Powder in the shade 330. It's a smidge bit embarrassing because I hit pan like months ago, but I'm too lazy to replace it, so. I'm just going to grab my e.l.f. complexion brush, which is super dirty, which will be a trend that you'll see in this video. I'm just going to blend the powder that I had put under my eyes with the rest of my skin tone and really scrape in there because, you know, your girl hit pan. And just blend everything out. I'm kind of gonna diffuse the brightness under my eyes with it as well. So just really get in there and blend everything together. Make sure everything looks one, because if it doesn't, you can get clocked. And we don't get clocked. We're Mark Mob, okay? So just really get in there and blend super good. So just check yourself out, make sure you look fire, and then we're gonna jump to brows. For my eyebrows, I use Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Chocolate. Super good formula, and the number 14 angle and spoolie brush, super great and convenient. Now I just snap and look at me, I'm a real beauty guru. Y'all see me, y'all saw the little trick, it was cute or whatever. I'm just gonna grab my concealers again, blend them on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna use a e.l.f. angled brush to carve under my eyebrows and make everything look super defined and highlighted. Really take your time on this step because a lot can go wrong trying to rush, and then you get concealer where it's not supposed to be, and then you gotta layer on top of it with dip brow, and it's just way too much. So just take your time and make sure this is super crisp. Now I'm just gonna grab my filthy, this is so embarrassing you guys, I'm really sorry, but my filthy e.l.f. Flawless concealer brush. It's so great and fluffy and really gets in there better than your fingers do, especially if you wear fingernails. So you just get in there and diffuse the harsh edges of the concealer that you applied with the angled brush. And I also want to bring it towards the middle of my face so that everything looks cohesive and one. Now we're just going to take care of all the little last touches. So we're going to wipe all this foundation off of my lips that is making me look dehydrated and ashy. And we're also going to blend the outer corners of where my new concealer meets the old concealer I already laid down. And we're going to grab our Wet n Wild bronzer in What Shady Beaches. It's super ghetto, I know. It's all broke up. It's so embarrassing, but it's okay. And then we're also going to grab our MAC 217 brush, which I couldn't even read because I've had that brush since I was in like middle school. But we're going to take it and really define the bridge of our nose to make us look more snatched. You have to be really careful when you do this to not drag it too far out, or else this is going to make your nose look broad. So keep it tight, and then we're going to grab our e.l.f. Must Have angled brush and define our cheekbones. I like to take it a little bit higher than my actual cheekbone because when you drag it down, it kind of droops. So you want to take it high and blend low rather than take it where it's already at and then blend low and get the opposite effect that you were going for. You're just going to drag that down your neck and your forehead. I also like to blend out my chin because I don't like my chin looking too bright because it already kind of sticks out too much. And then we're going to go back in one more time and really define the cheekbones. go in with some highlight. I love to use my tried and true Laura Geller Gilded Honey and a little e.l.f. brush. It didn't have a name on it, but it's super dirty and I'm so sorry. But we're just going to take that and highlight the high points of our cheek. Super nice and blended. You don't want to do too much or else you're just going to look bad. Personally, I feel like highlight is something that's supposed to shimmer and glow a little bit when light hits it, not just look like a sheen just like over your face. So I don't like doing too much. But then I'm going to take a little bit on my finger and highlight the bridge of my nose so that it looks a little bit more snatched, like I can't breathe, a little, you know, just a little suck in, don't. And then we're gonna do the tip of our nose like we're Rudolph and blend that out with our old powder brush. You're also going to want to tack a little bit onto your Cupid's bow and your upper lip so that your lips look a little bit more full, but you also want to blend that out. I'm going to grab my L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara, which is super nice. I feel like it's a close dupe to the Better Than Sex mascara. My roommate actually put me onto it and I love it so much. But then I'm also going to coat my bottom lashes. This is really important to me because I feel like when my concealer and all gets up under in my waterline, it just looks gross. So this just makes it look more finished and put together. This is another one of those products with no name or no label, but this is the Maybelline Great Lash in the shade Clear, and we're just going to use that to secure our eyebrow hairs in place. And I'm just going to grab my e.l.f. powder brush, which is also super filthy, and my e.l.f. blush palette in the shade Dark. I'm just going to blend all of the colors in the palette together and lightly coat the apples of my cheeks. Blush is super important because it just melts all of your highlight and contour together and just makes everything look one. Then to bring a little bit more life back into my face, I'm going to grab my Revlon Kiss Balm in the shade Cherry and just lightly coat my lips and rub them together just to bring some color back into my face. You know, your girl looked a little bit dry. So we back, and then I'm just going to add a little bit more highlight to my Cupid's bow to make things pop a little bit more. Then I'm going to use my e.l.f. contour brush and a little bit of highlight to add some dimension back into my eyes. So I'm going to highlight my inner corners with that and also touch up the bridge of my nose. And for my final step, I'm going to be using NK Makeup Lip Gel in the shade Clear. It reminds me a lot of MAC's lip gloss, and it's super affordable at the beauty supply store. But this is the final look. It's super cute and glowy, and I hope you enjoyed.